Beneath the storm-lashed waters off Russia's far east lies one of the most dangerous and least understood geological features on Earth, the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. Stretching thousands of kilometers along the Pacific seafloor, this vast subduction zone marks the collision of two colossal tectonic plates and holds the potential to unleash a disaster of staggering proportions. In 1952, it triggered a magnitude 9.0 earthquake and a tsunami that claimed over 2,300 lives within minutes. Now, decades later, signs are mounting that history may be poised to repeat itself. In 2025 alone, this volatile region has already been shaken by 7 earthquakes exceeding magnitude 7, including a powerful magnitude 7.4 event in July that prompted tsunami warnings across the Pacific. Scientists fear a much larger rupture could be imminent, one capable of generating ocean-wide tsunamis and devastating coastal cities along Russia's Pacific Rim. Yet beyond the region, few are even aware of this trench's existence. Today, let's delve into the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, its historical and recent seismic activity, the looming threat of a future megaquake, and the potentially devastating impact such a disaster could have. The Kuril-Kamchatka Trench lies at the far eastern edge of Russia, stretching roughly 2,000 kilometers from the southern tip of the Kamchatka Peninsula down past the Kuril Islands toward Hokkaido, Japan. It marks the boundary where the Pacific Plate is being thrust beneath the Okhotsk Plate, a process known as subduction. The Pacific Plate moves northwestward at a rate of approximately 8 to 9 centimeters per year, pushing against the Eurasian tectonic plate and generating immense geological stress. This constant grinding between plates results in the buildup of energy along the fault line, which is eventually released in the form of earthquakes. Because the trench is a subduction zone, where one plate dives beneath another, it is also a prime location for tsunami-genic megathrust earthquakes. These are the same types of seismic events that caused the catastrophic Indian Ocean tsunami in 2004 and the Tohoku disaster in Japan in 2011. Geologically, the trench is among the deepest in the world, reaching depths of nearly 9,600 meters. Its floor is lined with layers of sediments scraped off the descending Pacific Plate, and its margins are dotted with underwater volcanoes, seismic scars, and deformation zones. The region is not only seismically active, but volcanically as well, with numerous active volcanoes along the Kamchatka Peninsula, each closely tied to the subduction dynamics of the trench. The Kuril-Kamchatka Trench has a long and destructive history of seismic activity. One of the most infamous events occurred on November 4, 1952, when a massive magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck just off the coast of Kamchatka. The tremor generated a Pacific-wide tsunami that devastated the town of Severokurilsk, killing over 2,300 people. The waves also reached as far as Hawaii, Chile, and New Zealand, showcasing the trench's ability to trigger far-reaching destruction. Another major event occurred in 2006, when a magnitude 8.3 earthquake rocked the central Kuril Islands. Although this quake generated a tsunami, its effects were comparatively limited due to the sparsely populated nature of the region and improved early warning systems. Nevertheless, the event served as a stark reminder of the trench's ongoing activity. There have also been numerous other large-scale earthquakes throughout the 20th century. Each of these events, while not as devastating as the 1952 quake, has contributed to a growing awareness of the trench's seismic volatility. The pattern of activity suggests that the Kuril-Kamchatka system is far from dormant, and that large portions of the fault remain capable of generating catastrophic events. The year 2025 has brought a notable surge in seismic activity along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, alarming seismologists and prompting renewed concerns about a potential megaquake. By mid-July, at least 7 earthquakes exceeding magnitude 7.0 had occurred in the region. These include a powerful magnitude 7.4 event on July 20th. The earthquake struck at a depth of around 20 kilometers and was preceded by a foreshock measuring 6.7 in magnitude. Over the next 24 hours, the area experienced a swarm of at least 30 aftershocks, several of which also exceeded magnitude 6.0. The July 20th quake triggered tsunami warnings across the Pacific, including in Russia, Japan, Alaska, and even as far as Hawaii and American Samoa. Though no destructive waves materialized, the widespread issuance of alerts and precautionary evacuations highlighted the immense risk posed by the trench. In Kamchatka, coastal communities were put on high alert, and emergency response teams were mobilized to monitor the situation. What's particularly concerning to scientists is that the pattern of earthquakes seen in 2025 may indicate stress transfer along the fault system. In seismically active regions, a large earthquake in one segment of a subduction zone can increase stress in adjacent locked segments, making them more likely to rupture. This phenomenon was seen in the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, which was preceded by years of smaller tremors that crept northward along the Japan Trench. The recent spike in activity along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench may be a similar harbinger. Given the geological structure of the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench and the current seismic pattern, many experts believe the region is overdue for another massive earthquake, possibly in the magnitude 8.5 to 9.2 range. Such a megaquake could be triggered if a major segment of the fault, currently believed to be locked, suddenly ruptures. The immense pressure that has built up over decades would be released in a matter of seconds, producing violent ground shaking and generating a potentially catastrophic tsunami. The immediate impact on Russia's Far East could be devastating. The Kamchatka Peninsula is home to over 300,000 people, many of whom live in coastal towns. A tsunami triggered by a megathrust earthquake could produce waves more than 10 to 20 meters high, inundating entire neighborhoods and destroying infrastructure. Coastal erosion, fires, and hazardous material spills would exacerbate the chaos. In addition to tsunami risk, the ground shaking itself would cause widespread destruction. Many buildings in Kamchatka, especially older Soviet-era structures, are not built to modern seismic standards.
We're following the breaking news of a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake triggering tsunami alerts for Japan and Alaska, Hawaii, and the U.S. West Coast. CNN's Ivan Watson joins me from Hong Kong. Ivan, we've seen the images of the waves impacting a town on Russia's far east coast, but initial waves in Japan, thankfully, are lower than expected. But where do things stand right now, and what is expected from here?
Right. Well, everybody's watching this very closely and taking it very seriously. The initial impact from this earthquake, just about 4 hours ago exactly, you had some buildings damaged in this sparsely populated region of eastern Russia, the Kamchatka region. And then we see images in social media of flooding, of tsunamis coming in and impacting coastal areas there. Japan has issued some evacuations and ordered residents to go to seek higher ground in some regions. And the initial estimates of a tsunami they arrived as less than expected, only about a foot-high wave, but they aren't taking any chances. In 2011, there was a 9.1 magnitude earthquake that killed more than 22,000 people in Japan due to the tsunami and the ensuing nuclear Fukushima reactor disaster. The entire Pacific Rim, there are tsunami warnings from Indonesia to the Philippines to Ecuador and Chile, and of course to the U.S. territories of Guam, Hawaii, where there are some evacuation orders, and then Alaska and Northern California and Oregon and Washington. There we are estimating that the arrival time of possible tsunamis are still at least an hour away, but this is something that authorities are taking very, very seriously. This was the sixth most powerful earthquake ever recorded, 8.8 magnitude. Laura?
Ivan Watson, thank you so much. Keep us posted.
Breaking news tonight, tsunami alerts for the entire U.S. West Coast after a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off of Russia's east coast. Those warnings include Alaska, Hawaii, and the entire U.S. west coast. We are learning that the first tsunami waves have already been detected in parts of Russia and also Japan. Now, this is the strongest quake on the planet since 2011, when a 9.0 magnitude tremor hit northeast Japan and triggered a devastating tsunami. CNN's Ivan Watson is live for us now in Hong Kong. Ivan, what can you tell us?
Well, Abby, it's been about 3.5 hours since this massive earthquake struck off the eastern coast of Russia's Kamchatka region. And as you pointed out, 8.8 magnitude, one of the most powerful earthquakes ever. And it has sent a chain of tsunami warnings and advisories across and around the Pacific. The Russian regions of Kamchatka and the Sakhalin Islands, there have been orders to evacuate. The first wave has believed to have hit parts of Kamchatka at a height of around 3 to 4 meters, though so far officials there say the damage is minimal. But there are also warnings and advisories going out to Tokyo, Indonesia, the Philippines, Taiwan, and U.S. territories like the island of Guam and the Mariana Islands and Hawaii, and of course the west coast of the U.S. As well. We have reports of an initial wave that hit parts of Japan and only about 30 centimeters high, but the authorities there aren't taking any chances. They're ordering evacuations for people to go to higher ground. And then the warnings of the estimated arrival time of possible tsunamis to areas like Alaska and the west coast of the U.S., the mainland, that is still several hours away, but the advisories are in effect right now. So authorities are taking this very, very seriously. Abby.
As they should. It could be potentially a very dangerous situation. Ivan Watson, please keep us posted as this unfolds throughout the night. Thank you very much for that report.
Непосредственная угроза волн цунами. Возникла непосредственная угроза волн цунами. Ждите дальнейших сообщений Главного управления МЧС России по Камчатскому краю и действуйте соответственно.
Господи, боже мой! Стой, Господи, боже мой! Когда успокоится все, Господи! Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой! Господи! Осечка мой маленький, осечка! Сейчас пойдем! Сейчас пойдем! Ой, Господи!
A tsunami watch now issued for Washington State, as well as Alaska and Hawaii, now under a tsunami warning. A massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake was recorded off the eastern coast of Russia, where waves have now been reported as high as 10 feet. The National Weather Service telling us when the waves could hit the mainland U.S. Sirens going off at this hour in Hawaii as people are urged to find higher ground. Listen. Now, those first waves are projected to hit Hawaii in just under 2 hours' time. New video just in right here showing us people in Japan watching on as the first waves slam that region. Again, a powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake that hit Russia, already ranking among the top 10 strongest earthquakes
some breaking news. The entire west coast of the United States is under a tsunami warning right now. It comes after an 8.8 magnitude quake hit right off the coast of Russia. That is one of the strongest earthquakes in history.
Alaska and Hawaii are also under tsunami warnings tonight. This is a live look right now at the waters off the coast of Honolulu, where those tsunami sirens are blaring, telling people to get to higher ground. And Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Bergman joins us right now with the very latest on this. So what do you have at this point, Noah?
Yeah, John Lou, I want to first start by saying the rarity of this seismic event is extreme. When you talk about earthquakes, it's not a linear scale. So to take us all back to grade school science class, meaning 7 is not 1 unit bigger than 6. The scale for earthquakes goes like this. So they get exponentially larger and more powerful as you go up. Anything above 8 is rare. Anything close to 9 is very rare. And this is, as it stands now, been upgraded to an 8.8 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Russia. And this has already generated an estimated 13-foot tsunami into eastern Russia. Now, tsunamis can travel hundreds of miles an hour, and the Weather Service and NOAA and the U.S. Geological Survey do state that a tsunami has been generated and is moving in the direction of Hawaii and the U.S. West Coast, which is why there's a tsunami warning for the Hawaiian Islands and a tsunami alert from Seattle down through California from this. Here's the estimated arrival times of this tsunami wave. Tacoma, Washington, about 2 a.m. Pacific time. So you convert that to our time. This is still many hours this way from hitting the U.S. West Coast. But in terms of hitting Hawaii, it'll be a little earlier than that. You see Seaside, Oregon, 11:55 Pacific time. So we're talking in the middle of the night here, our time in Florida for them. San Francisco, whatever does reach San Francisco, would be 12:40 a.m. And in the Los Angeles area, the estimate is 1:05 a.m. Now, for the Hawaiian Islands, some of you, like some of us here at work, may have friends or family or people you know that are there. What we're hearing is people are being evacuated to higher ground across all of the Hawaiian Islands now. The estimate from the folks at NOAA and the Tsunami Warning Center in the Pacific is for the tsunami to hit the first at 7:17 Hawaiian Standard Time. Remember, they don't observe daylight time, which you convert that's about 1:17 a.m. Eastern Time, potential for the tsunami to hit the Hawaiian Islands. And remember, a tsunami is a series of waves that builds up, and before they hit, the water gets sucked back out into the ocean, which is what we're already starting to see. We'll talk to you much more about this in the heat from today and the storms that are coming for here in Florida tomorrow in just a few minutes.
Live picture yet again, though, off the coast of Honolulu. And so remember, we brought you that news from the Hawaii Emergency Management Authority and Governor Josh Green there in Hawaii, saying that in about 30 minutes' time, all sirens will sound there in Hawaii. And that the first wave of this tsunami, they're expecting wave impact in about a little under 2 hours at 7:10 p.m. local time. So Hawaii under evacuation right now, sirens blaring there in Honolulu as residents were urged to higher ground. Now remember, other tsunami warnings, the National Tsunami Warning Center based in Alaska issued a tsunami advisory for parts of California, Oregon, and Washington. This was an 8.8 magnitude earthquake here.